Hey everybody, it's me again, Jack Wallen, and this time we're going to talk about one of the books that I've written. The book in question is Suicide Station. Now, first I'm going to say this. This is the cover that is now out of print. This is the original cover for the book. And the reason why I redid it is partially because of that noose there. You see, people see this word here, suicide, and they immediately think very bad things with reason. And because of that, this book is very, very hard to market. It's very hard to convince people to read this book. But let me tell you, this book is not about glorifying suicide. This book is actually the opposite. Let me explain. Let me read the blurb first. I gotta don my glasses. The world of stand-up comedy, well, let's start at the beginning. Death is not the end of love. The world of stand-up comedy was too much for Foster Donovan. Leaving a note behind for his wife, he wrapped a noose around his neck and changed his life by embracing death. Turns out, the afterlife was nothing like he'd expected. Stations await those who've passed on. Who you were in life determines your forever station. Those who've taken their own lives will find themselves temporary residents of Suicide Station, where they receive counseling, friendship, and, for Foster, the prospect of love. Candy, the very embodiment of beauty and grace. And she's got eyes for our accidental hero. Unfortunately for Foster, the tether to his old life begs him to return. When he does manage to slip the bonds of death, Foster Donovan discovers a very different punchline. Suicide Station is a paranormal romance with a twist even the Grim Reaper wouldn't see coming. Now, why did I write this? I wrote this book as a love letter to the afterlife. Now, I'm really struggling to talk about this book. Number one, I love this book. I do. I am I'm struggling here. Okay. I have had 3 members of my family take their lives. 2 by gun, and 1 by drugs. So the idea of suicide cuts really deep for me. And I thought about it a lot over my life. Why people do it, what happens afterwards, the things we think about. And when I decided to write this book, I think at first it was an exercise in me coming to grips with the fact that I've had loved ones take their own lives. But I wanted to deal with it in a unique way. I wanted to kind of, like, as it sort of hinted at in the blurb, that death was not the end of love. And that everybody's idea of the afterlife is different. You might have a religious perspective. And if you have a religious perspective, your idea of the afterlife is probably heaven or hell. I do not have that perspective, but I don't look down upon anybody that does. I'm not going to get into what I believe is the afterlife, but when I thought about writing this book, I asked myself this question. What if we could find love after death? Would that be because We're spirits, we're ghosts, and we're walking about the world unseeable by the living, and yet we can see other dead people. And if we can see other dead people, could we fall in love with them? And then I thought, what if the afterlife was broken up into different places for different people? You might have an afterlife geared towards artists. You might have an afterlife geared towards athletes. You might have an afterlife or a location, a place in the afterlife geared towards politicians. And what if when you die, your spirit is then transferred to that place that best fits your personality or the thing you love? And then I started thinking, okay, that's very intriguing. But what about the people that take their own lives? What happens to them? Because if you look at it from a religious perspective, the taking of one's own life is considered a mortal sin. So wouldn't those people then be condemned to hell? Then I thought, what if those people that took their own lives wound up in a place where they could get help? Help figuring out why they took their own lives. Help dealing with the fact that they left people behind to suffer because they took their own lives. And then that therapy that one would have to go through in the afterlife would then be geared towards finding that person their forever station. So that when that person did reach their permanent residence after their life, they would be mentally and emotionally ready for it. And then I thought, what happens if our anti-hero, or whatever you want to call him, starts going through his counseling and falls in love with his counselor? That is what Suicide Station is all about. It's not really so much about the suicide. It's about what happens after the fact. It's about what happens. It's about how we deal with it. Because a lot of books and movies and everything that deal with this subject tend to deal with those who survive the suicide, the loved ones and the family and the friends who are still there, grieving the person that is no longer there. So I wanted to go the opposite direction. I wanted to deal with the person that took their life and how they deal with it. And when I thought about it that way, all of a sudden it became very intriguing, and I thought, I have to write that book. And it turned into this, even though this is no longer the cover. I like this cover, but you know, you got to do what's right. And so here's another interesting thing, is that this book was part of a contest in Amazon, for Amazon. I don't remember what it was called. It was quite a while ago. And if your book succeeded, it was Amazon would publish it under an imprint of theirs and do a bunch of marketing and all this. And during the contest, my book was like way up there. I mean, it was scoring really high, and people were really excited about it. And then somebody complained to Amazon about it, and then I was kind of knocked off. And that's fine. That's fine. I don't bear ill will to anybody for it, because the book came out, and the people that have read it love it, and they get it. They get that what it's about and what it's not about. And so it's just maybe it's because I have had people in my life commit suicide, it's a special book because it allowed me some catharsis, and it allowed it in such a way that gave me hope. I know that sounds a little strange, but it did. And so, and there's some really interesting characters. There's David, who is a stoner in the afterlife. And the other thing is that when you go to suicide station, you carry with you the wound from how you ended your life. So David has Foster Donovan has a permanent scar on his neck from the rope. And I think it's been a long time since I've read this. I think David, half of his head is gone because he tried to commit suicide committed suicide by gun. So the characters have to deal with that. And of course, Foster Donovan, being a comedian, he continues to be a comedian in Suicide Station. And so the idea was that he was going to wind up at a forever station for comedians. And here's the really, really cool thing, and one of the reasons, and I mentioned this in the last video I recorded, that I'm going to go back and finally write the third book in this series. The second book is called Suicide Machine. And the reason why I want to write the third book is because when I was writing the second book, I came up with this idea to develop a metaverse for every book I've written that will be in this world. So, for example, and I know this is giving something away, but for example, there will be an apocalypse station where my iZombie series takes place. There will be a steampunk station where my Clockwork Cabaret series takes place. There will be a monster station where my Monster Theory series takes place. So there will be all of these stations that are central to the various book series that I've written, and so it'll kind of tie all of that together. And it really excites me to be able to pull all those together, for those people that have read all of my books, I think that you'll really enjoy the Easter eggs and various and sundry things that I put in the third book. So that's really the reason why I want to write this third book, because it just excites me, and the universe has pretty much tapped me on the shoulder and said, yeah, it's time to go back there. And I'm ready. I'm okay. I'm ready for it. And, like I said in the last video, it's all about timing, and the time is right. And guess what? Way back when I was doing the Moments from My Worlds video series, I filmed, I created a short film for Suicide Station, which stars Foster Donovan, aka me. And it's a short video, and I'm going to put it at the end of this video here so you can watch it. Yeah, it does portray an act of suicide, and as usual, if you are having suicidal thoughts, suicidal ideations, or you know somebody, please seek help. Reach out, even if you just reach out to me, reach out to somebody, because you're a beautiful person. And your life is important, and you are important, and you mean something to someone. You probably mean something to a lot of someones, and you need to know that, and you need to understand that. So watch this video at the end with that in mind, and know that this and the video all come from a place of love and caring and kindness. And I think I have been told that I dealt with this subject in a very graceful way. So anyway, that is Suicide Station. You can find it on Amazon.com. You can order a signed paperback from me. I promise you, when you get a signed paperback from me, it will be the new cover, unless you actually request this original cover. I think I have a few copies of it left. But anyway, you can go to jackwallen.com and order the book, or you can, like I said, go to Amazon.com and get the ebook or the paperback, whichever one you want. Anyway, thank you very, very much for giving me a little bit of your time. It means the world to me, and I hope that you and everyone you love have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you. Thank you. My name is Foster Donovan. The last time I was on the stage behind a microphone, I was alive. Only my career was dying. Now that I'm dead, my career is very much alive. Who'd have thought it would take me ending my own life to resurrect a flagging career as a stand-up comedian? But hey, here I am. Whoa. I haven't seen this many pale faces since the last time I was on the set of a Tim Burton film. Death. Yeah. No disrespect to my now widowed wife, but I have actually found love here at Suicide Station. And I'm talking real love, true love, love at first sight kind of love. And with the most beautiful woman I have ever known. Candy. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. How is it that an average-looking dead guy like me could fall into a lap that luxurious? The road to happiness is clearly a river named Styx. Come on. Is it the whole being dead thing? I don't remember reading in the handbook anywhere that laughter was forbidden here at Suicide Station. To my dearest Sutton, I tried. I really did. I wore the mask day in and day out to appease the great god normalcy. But I just couldn't do it. So death. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Nietzsche said, to live is to suffer, and to survive is to find meaning in the suffering. With each passing tick of the clock, I felt meaning swirl farther and farther down the drain. What started out as a glorious ride down Joyful Lane turned into a shit-slogging hike up a mountain I like to call monotony. If Nietzsche were here, I'd look him right in the eye and kick him square in the balls. But don't worry, it wasn't you. Meaning in the suffering? What the fuck? I know. I can already hear you saying it. Yeah, whatever. Clearly that existential prick has never known true suffering. Seriously, you were great. If he did, he'd be right here with us now, yucking it up, but no. You're fucking amazing. As cliche as this is going to sound, God, I hate to say this, I'm going to come off like some spineless douche. C'est la vie. Too late for that right now, right? I don't see a single philosopher anywhere in the crowd.
It's me. I mean, it was me. I speak in the past tense with regards to myself because by the time you read this, I'll be gone.
I mean, philosophy. The only thing you can do with a philosophy degree is teach philosophy, right?
Wow. Can you believe it? I finally had the courage to do the right thing. Don't believe me? Look up. See? I told you. I'm dead.
Comedy, on the other hand. Now there's a career. One that can bring heart to the heartless and hope to the hopeless.
For what it's worth, I'll miss you.
My name is Foster Donovan. You're gonna be seeing a whole lot of me now here at the suicide station. Thank you. Good night.